Rec League Podcast. Tell your friends and your neighbors. Tell your family and your haters. Available on Podbean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Good Pods, Pocket Casts, and Breaker. At Rec League Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky. At Rec League Pod on Twitter. Episode 182 coming soon. Yo, whether you watching this from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram or YouTube itself. What up, world? So I just watched Scream 7. Obviously, the 7th entry in the Scream franchise. First since 2023's Scream 6. It stars Neve Campbell, Isabel May, Courtney Cox, McKenna Grace, Celeste O'Connor, Asa Germain, Anna Camp, Sam Reckner, I believe is his name, the boyfriend. Jasmine Savoy, Mason Gooding, Timothy Simons, Ethan Embry, Matthew Lillard. Yes, that Matthew Lillard. Is directed by Kevin Williamson, who also directed Teaching Mrs. Tingle, but he wrote the original Scream, I believe Scream 2. There was some complications with Scream 3. I think he wrote 4. I don't think he wrote the last 2 at all. He wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't think he wrote I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't think he wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer last year. But then there's Dawson's Creek in there. I want to say The Faculty, like the 90s boom of like slasher rejuvenation. Kevin Williamson had like the pot stirring and all of that. So we find Sidney Prescott in small town, reportedly Indiana. But I didn't see anything in the movie that said Indiana, so I don't know if there is any verification in the movie. But for my own peace of mind, I'm going to say that Scream 7 takes place in Indiana. And I guess omitting her inclusion in Scream 2022, she's really just been chilling, trying to find peace, trying to be normal, secluded, domesticated Sidney Prescott, wife, family, business owner, just chilling. But she is a magnet for death and chaos and ghost faces. And as can be seen, this was my one of it got the bronze medal of my most anticipated movies of 2026. And trailers was cool. I had my guesses. I thought everything in the trailers was misdirection. Cause it's like they intentionally, I'm not hiding, not this time. You found a cool little small town similar to where we grew up. McKenna Grace in the blue plaid. What else? I just thought it was all misdirect. The trailers did a very good job at keeping me guessing. And then this movie, introducing these characters, did a very good job at misdirection and keeping me guessing. The obvious suspects where it was literally right in your face. Hey guys, this is 2026 Billy. Hey guys, this is 2026 Stu. And these other characters, and like the introduction, the Drew Barrymore scene of this movie, the Jada Pinkett scene, I will say Cotton Weary, because Leah Schreiber, I don't think in 2000 was a big actor yet. He was Cotton Weary. And then four used to be my least favorite opening. Hey, here's all these famous hotties. Who's gonna die? And then 2022 did Jenna Ortega when I wasn't sure who Jenna Ortega was yet. And then Samara Weaving in 6. Seven is my new least favorite opening. The location is cool. The outcome is cool. It's just the opening. It's just my new least favorite opening. First act, great. Second act, great. There are some great suspenseful sequences. Not necessarily tension heavy, but there's a conflict between Neve Campbell's character and Isabel May's character. And it's just like, one of them wants something. One of them doesn't want that one to have something. The one that doesn't want them to have something realizes or has to learn it's out of their control. But then the one that wants it, once they get it, you ain't really want that. And then I was all like, this week leading up, I'm rewatching the whole franchise, how I normally do. And then it's just like, if this is in Indiana, it's clearly not in New York. I assume it's not in Woodsboro because of the trailers. It's not in Woodsboro. It's not in New York. What purpose in this movie are Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy going to serve? And then once they're in the movie, okay, that's cool. I can get behind that. Chases, solid kills. This is like Neve Campbell was doing her press circuit, talking about 5 and 6 were the most gory, or gorier than the first 4. And while they might have been, she had it in her back pocket. 7 is the goriest of the franchise. So, points. They were teeing up characters who I thought were going to bite it, that didn't. The ones that did, kept me guessing for the third act reveal. I had my suspect list among just watching the movie. I assume we all do. So, I didn't know. There's one character that showed up, and I just, after my first 2, I was like, okay, they're once this character showed up, I was like, they're not in this movie just for this part. They're involved. I said Puppet Master. I don't particularly know if they were the Puppet Master. Maybe they were just the Stu of it all, the Mickey of it all. But I was still right. And I'm telling, I loved the first 2 acts. Again, going back, rewatching the franchise. This movie is like the Scream 4 doppelganger. Scream 4, first act, second act, obnoxious. The new characters were just way too cartoony, way too over the top. Gale was way too over the top. Scream 4 just feels like the try-hard, lame entry with a great third act. This movie felt like Scream in the first 2 acts. The reveal and the motivations were trash. Worst killer motivations of the franchise. And I'm trying so hard not to let a bad third act, I bullshit you not, a bad third act overshadow the good first 2 acts. I'm telling you, it's the reciprocal. It's the opposite of Scream 4. They go from bad to good in the exact same place. And this movie was rushed. And this movie was rushed because Melissa Barrera took a stand, stood on business, stood on her beliefs. Skydance, trash, fired her. She was the new lead of this franchise. Trash. And whether Jenna Ortega's not in this movie because she was riding with her friend or because her schedule was too busy, that's both leads for Scream 2022 and Scream 6 gone. So we need to rush. First of all, Skydance, Paramount, is rushing to throw the money at Neve Campbell that they didn't offer her for 6, taking an L on top of an L. And now we need to rush the story because the Carpenter sisters aren't getting their trilogy. This movie feels rushed. Because first of all, who are our killers and why are they doing it? Oh, lame ass reason. Here we go. And then, you've seen the posters. I said it at the top. Matthew Lillard is in this movie. Stu is in this movie. And I feel like the round table, the writer's room just said, well, fuck it. The internet thinks Stu's still alive. Let's put Stu in this movie. Giving into Twitter, AskFast9, F9, giving into Twitter never ends up well. Giving into social media hype and rumors is the dumbest fucking shit you can do for a big budget studio movie. I ain't gonna hold you. I thought Matthew Lillard was in this movie in a dream sequence. Like, there would have been a Scream 3-esque way of Sidney having a nightmare and Ghostface past killers are just in this nightmare. That's not what happened, even though my idea is better. What Matthew Lillard was utilized for in this movie was fucking dumb. And it's way too 2026. So, like, this whole script was rushed. I initially thought this movie was getting bashed critically due to, like, Melissa Barrera supporters not even seeing the movie and just, oh, we stand with Melissa Barrera, low Rotten Tomato score. Now I get it. This low Rotten Tomato score is earned, and it's all based on the third act. It sucks. So if this, like, I think Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega can come back to this franchise. But it just depends on how we move forward. I think Kevin Williamson he got his one, no more. The rushed writing, you did not earn yourself a sequel. Sorry. But again, like, and the rushed writing ties around to the motive of the killers. It's bad. I'm 2/3 of this movie are good, enjoyable. But with Scream, you have to stick the landing. And while, like I said, 4, obnoxious as fuck, the landing makes it watchable. Even 5 is way better. I've seen 5 like 5 times, but this was probably my favorite time watching 5 because of the taste that 4 left. I don't know how many times I've seen 4. Scream, one of my favorite horror movies ever. This is my favorite horror franchise ever, and that's why I feel like I'm coming off so passionate, because Scream 7 deserved better. And Neve Campbell deserved better. But it's also a Halloween Ends thing. Like, how did Jamie Lee Curtis let whatever the fuck that dude's name who body slammed Michael Myers become so prominently focused in that movie when it was going to be her last movie? It sucks. Why were these lazy ass motivations approved by Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox producing? And the more I think about this movie, the more disappointed I get. But I'm telling you, there's so much to love in those first 2 acts. There's so much to love in those first 2 acts. And there's some good suspense in the first act. The first attack in Sidney's hometown was very good. The second was maybe better. And then there's a sequence, not in public, but with more characters. That was really good. And it lingered to like the end of the second act. And that was really good. Yeah, man. So I have to say that, like, I'm trying to end on a positive, even though, like, I'm kind of let down. This is nowhere near close to being one of the best Scream movies, and I can't argue with anybody that says it's the worst Scream movie. It's the worst killers, in my opinion, and definitely the worst motivations. But I don't think this is the worst Scream movie, and I can't argue with anybody that says it is. It's all valid. I'm gonna let it go. I think I ranted all that time and didn't spoil anything. Came close, but I'm gonna hit y'all with, if the motivations just would have been tighter and the reliance on Matthew Lillard wasn't such a crutch, there was something there. but it could have been a completely different movie. As hard as I have been in this video, with all that being said, I will say that in my opinion, Scream 7 is almost dope. I want to say it's solid, but I enjoyed the first two acts a lot. And trying to be logical, even though the third act like completely just fizzled out. And it does a lot, man. Have you seen Scream 7? What you think? Positive, negative, somewhere in between? Let me know. What was it? 2 weeks ago now, I put up reviews for Crime 101 and GOAT, Strangers Chapter 3, which is worse than Scream 7, still. That review is up. Next weekend, we're in March. The plan is to watch and review Hoppers and The Bride. Be on the lookout for those. And then I don't think I'm watching shit in 2 weeks. Upcoming Rec League podcast, we're going to talk Scream 7, spoiler heavy discussion for Scream 7 so I can get everything off my chest. So watch Scream 7 before you check out that podcast episode, man. Like, subscribe, comment. Find me where you find me, man. Don't know where to find me. Watch these credits. Peace.